we want to really try to make the session as engaging as possible, and we really want to hear from you as well. And we're going to do that through 3 different methods. The first one is we're going to try and use the polling function of Zoom. So we'll see how this goes. It's the first time we're doing it. We're going to try to ask you some questions just to find out who is in the room, just to get a sense for the audience that we have in the room today. We'll do that in a minute. And then the other one is we want to encourage you to make use of the question and answer function. So you have at the bottom of your screen, in the bottom menu bar that you have at the bottom of your screen, you should have a little icon that looks like this. I can't move my mouse here. Something that looks like this, or maybe that looks like 2 different bubbles with Q&A underneath. If you click there, you'll be able to pose specific questions to the speakers. So as the speakers start to share their wisdom with you, you're welcome to start posting questions, and then we'll be able to find your questions there and to ask your questions to the speakers. And lastly, we're going to also use the chat. So the chat you can access through this little bubble here. That is another icon at the bottom of your screen. So you can use, I see that a number of people have already started to use the chat to greet from various provinces, which is great. So you're welcome to use the chat during the session. We will also have a feedback form at the end of the session, which we will put into the chat. So please, as the session ends, don't just leave and run away. Make sure that you check the chat to see the feedback form, and then you'll be able to click on that link and give us your feedback about the session. Okay, so with all this, I'm going to quickly give you an overview of the session today. We're going to you've already heard Luba do the introduction about the School Leadership Forum. We're going to do a quick poll now to hear who's in the room. And after that, I'm going to quickly hand over to Helene Brand from our sponsor, My School, who's going to quickly say a few words about why My School is supporting the School Leadership Forum. And then we'll hand over to our 2 keynote speakers today, Dr. Nancy Siegfried, who's going to talk about the science behind the COVID-19 pandemic and what we need to know in order to keep the schools safe and the learners and staff safe. And then we'll hear from Batandwa Sonamzi, a principal, a PFP principal here in the Cape, who will also share from his very practical experience, some advice and guidance and ideas that I'm sure you're going to be very inspired by. After that, we'll have questions and answers, and then the feedback questionnaire will be sent, and then I'll hand over to Selwyn Page to close the session. So there we go. Let's get started. And I'm going to ask Selwyn to help us, please, with the poll. We want to get a sense of who's in the room. So you should be getting now a little question on your screen. 2 questions, actually. A question that asks what takes you to our School Leadership Forum session today, whether you're a school principal or an educator or someone else who's interested in the topic. And the second question, which will ask you which province you are from. So please, I hope it's working for everyone. You can just click on your response and submit. And as we see the responses come in, we'll be able to share so that everyone in the room has a sense for who else is there. I hope it's working for everyone. I'm going to click for myself. And I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to do your poll, and then I'm going to ask Selwyn to share the results when we have sufficient results so that everyone can see. Oh my goodness, I see we have someone from Malta. So you can't even click your province. Welcome, Bernie. It's great to have you here. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that Selwyn can share the results of the poll.
I'm going to end the poll now, Margalie. I'm going to end and share my screen, share results.
Okay, so that's interesting. We have 50% of the attendees are PFP principals and 13% non-PFP school principals. We have 15% of educators, SGB members, Symphonia team members. We have 10% of business partners and other people working in education, and then 23% others. This is a nice spread. So very exciting. Welcome to all of you. It's very nice to get a sense for who's in the room. And I see there's a majority from the Western Cape, 38%. And we have people from all over the place, really. 2% Northern Cape, 2% Eastern Cape. We have 10% KwaZulu-Natal. Welcome to you in KZN. We have a few from Mpumalanga and the Free State and Northwest. Welcome. And then 29% Gauteng, 10% Limpopo. So this is interesting. I'm glad that we have a sense now of people having joined from all over the country and beyond. So I'm going to close this. Thank you, Selwyn, for your help.